Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jan Moses, back here with another episode of the Salary Cap Report. Going to be reviewing the salary changes for Tuesday, April the 22nd. Gonna also be sharing my thoughts on the NBA playoff spotlight Sims players and how they could be very relevant for salary cap if the theories that people are having out there end up becoming true. I'm going to also take the lineup builder video that I usually make separate from the salary cap report episodes and bring that into today's SC report episode, mostly because, at least from what I've seen, there really aren't a ton of major salary changes to our players, at least to my players. Maybe your experience is different than mine, but for that reason I figured why not just make my lineup in this video. There is one change that I want to kind of make just to mix things up a bit, and then we'll open up a couple of packs. I have 2 pink diamond packs that I have to open up. We'll get to that at the very end of the video. Before we get into anything though that I just talked about, I want to briefly touch on my very short journey in round 2 so far. I've only played 6 games, but ended up going 4-2, and one of those losses was a lag out, which is really frustrating. Don't know why I was lagging. Everything was totally fine, and then all of a sudden I got the 2K error message and it booted me from the game. I will say though, there was a chance I could have lost that game anyways. It was a really tight game, and you know, in a game like that, I just feel like the first person to go on a mini run, even if it's just like a 6-0 run, is usually the player that ends up winning, because of God knows why. But regardless, 4-2 is 4-2. Your record is or you are what your record says you are, right? That's the famous Bill Parcells quote, right? And I'm not upset about being 4-2 through 6 games. Much better start than the 1-4 start I had in round 1. Now, if you're wondering why I'm playing any games at all this early into round 2, it's because I have a work conference and I'm going to basically be out the rest of this week until the end of the weekend, which means no salary cap report episode on Saturday. But hopefully I'll be able to do one on Tuesday, and I'm excited to see what promo they end up dropping on Friday, you know, because the Signature Series event is coming to an end. I don't think 2K is going to start up another event, although they could. Part of me kind of hopes that they don't, because I feel like 2K does give us better promos for the most part when events aren't going on, and that's because when there is an event, people are mostly ripping packs. I mean, they are still ripping packs for the players, but they're also ripping packs to get those event collectibles, which are guaranteed in every pack. If they save the more juiced promos with better players for out of event promo Fridays, I think they'll be able to get people to still rip packs, even though they know there's a lot of packs that they're going to pull that they're going to not get anything out of. They're going to get a Series 1 player. So we'll see if out of position finally comes to the game on Friday. If not, we still have another 2 Fridays left in the season to get out of position, so maybe they're saving it for the final couple of weeks. We'll have to see. But anyways, let's briefly touch on the NBA playoff spotlight Sims players. I talked about this yesterday, and I'm sure plenty of your favorite content creators talked about these players as well. Look, we all know that these players are all, for the most part, pretty mediocre to bad. Cade Cunningham, who absolutely destroyed my Knicks last night, is one of the better pink diamonds from this collection, but he only has 6 Hall of Famers, 9 gold badges, and I believe he only has 68 strength. Yeah, so like this card is lacking in a lot of different categories, and honestly, a lot of these cards fall into that same bucket. But the reason why I wanted to talk about these players is a lot of people are speculating that we could see these cards become Evos, you know, if their team ends up going past round 1. So, for example, you know, Oklahoma City and Boston, they should beat Memphis and Orlando in their respective series. And so if they do, and we end up getting Evos for Shea and Kristaps Porzingis, they should be able to then become Galaxy Opal cards when round 2 begins. And the reason why that's relevant is because with respect to player salaries in salary cap, cards that are evoed will keep the salary that they have with respect to their initial tier. So, for example, if I may leave that collection tab for a second, we can just look over here. Let's go to a player that we got for level 1 back in season 3. I could have showed Anthony Edwards, but I don't have him evoed. But I did evo Klay Thompson from a ruby to an amethyst, and you can see his salary is still at 1,000. And those of you guys that have been playing salary cap for a minute know that players whose base cards are amethyst can't see their salary go below 1,200, right? The salary range for an amethyst card is from 1,200 to 2,000. Klay Thompson is currently at 1,000, which is totally fine because, again, his base card was a ruby, and ruby salaries range from 800 to 1,200. So, yeah, just wanted to point that out. That's going to be relevant because now if we go back to the NBA playoffs players, they're currently all at 5,500 salary. If these cards end up becoming Evo cards, the max salary we should see for these cards, unless 2K gives any of these cards the Pink Diamond Wemby treatment, is going to be 8K salary, because Pink Diamonds range in salary from 5,000 to 8,000. So if you could run a Galaxy Opal Shea for 8K salary, or if if the Oklahoma City Thunder end up winning in round 2 as well, and then you can run a Dark Matter Shea for 8K, it's just going to be unfair, especially because every 2 weeks when a new round begins, we're seeing the salaries go up. There's a world where if these cards are Evos, you're going to be able to run multiple of these cards, meaning you could be running, multiple Galaxy Opals, maybe a couple of Dark Matters, and they're all going to be at 8K salary at most. So that's pretty nice. It's for that reason, amongst a few other reasons, that I don't think these cards are going to end up getting Evo'd. I think we're going to be getting separate player items for the teams that win in round 1. So this is going to be the last LeBron James that we see from the NBA playoffs, Spotlight Sims, the last Kristaps, the last Cade, so on and so forth. But I'm happy to be wrong, and if these cards end up getting Evos, that would be really fun, and it would make salary cap really interesting, and it's going to make it to where you're going to want to grind out all 48 of those challenges for round 1, even though it's going to be a little annoying, and it's probably going to take you a few hours to get done. Moving on here to the salary cap lineups, I'm probably going to be laying this lineup to bed, or at the very least, I'm going to be tearing this whole lineup apart and then building it back up with some sort of theme. I'm not sure what that theme is going to be, but the main reason is because I can't run the 4 Dark Matters anymore. Antoine Walker's Pink Diamond has jumped up to 8,000 salary from the 5,000 that he's been sitting at for the last couple of weeks, which is kind of rough. But honestly, for me, it's kind of nice because, I like the Derek Anderson and the Antoine Walker duo because I get a combined 15 legend badges when I run them together. But I don't really love that Derek Anderson card at point guard. At shooting guard, he was fine, but I just don't have a great time initiating offense with him. And his jumper is a little on the slow side. But having 11 legend badges on him is great. Makes sense, though, that the dynamic duo is going to be what is it now, at 9,200 salary. I feel like that's actually more appropriate than having both of those cards being able to be run together for 6,200 salary. So pretty rough change, but it is what it is. I don't get why Joakim Noah and Corey Brewer's duo has not been touched. They're still at a combined 9,200 as well, and I would personally much rather run Corey Brewer and Joakim Noah alongside a point guard that I trust than run Derek Anderson and Antoine Walker, be forced to put Derek Anderson at the 2 because I don't like the way he dribbles and moves and shoots the basketball, and then be forced to bring in a point guard next to him and have a 6'5" shooting guard in Derek Anderson. So yeah, we're not going to be running that lineup. We're not going to be messing around with that lineup. What we are going to be using is this lineup right here. This is the lineup that I ran for my latter few games of salary cap in round 2 this season, and it's been a lot of fun, especially with Dante Exum at point guard. It's been an absolute blast being able to run this card, and it's going to be kind of tough for me to say what I'm about to say, but I'm more than likely going to end up benching him for my favorite point guard in salary cap because I want to try someone else at the small forward position. Sheldon Williams is a lot of fun to use, but I'm having similar issues with his jump shot as I did with Michael Beasley, where it just feels a little too fast. And I gave him all the shooting badges, and maybe I shouldn't be rhythm shooting with him. I can green when I rhythm shoot in freestyle, but online, especially when he loads up, it ends up becoming really difficult to time. And again, I have vicious flashbacks to me trying to green shots with Michael Beasley and having a rough time with that. And so we're going to probably end up moving on from Sheldon Williams. And there's a couple of different options we can go with. We're going to cover those options as we go through the salaries here. The only dark matter in my collection who's seen their salary get changed, I believe, is Jalen Brunson, who's now up to 14,500. You probably weren't running his duo with Josh Hart and salary cap anyways, but if you were, please stop. 14,500 is way too much for the captain, Jalen Brunson. Kind of wish he had a better game last night than he did too. Really frustrating game. I did get LaMelo Ball out of that Easter locker code, but I will not be running him in salary cap. No interest there. Nothing really to note on when it comes to the Galaxy Opals. I feel like these cards have kind of been treading water when it comes to their salary all season. Pink Diamonds, I don't really know if many of them dropped in salary. A lot of these salary numbers look to be the exact same as what they were when we looked on Saturday. Sorry, I saw Mikal Bridges and I had vicious flashbacks of him missing those last two wide open threes that he had. Mikal, I need you to be better in game 3, buddy. Robert Covington, I want to point him out. Yes, he's been at 5,000 salary for at least a week. He's more than likely going to be the guy that I replace Sheldon Williams with, and I'll probably bring in Dyson Daniels. I could also bring in Jonathan Bender, who's a card that I've been wanting to try in salary cap for a minute. Going to try out both of their jump shots in freestyle, see which one I like more, and then take it from there. All the prime cards are still at 5,500 salary, just like it's been with every other promo that's come out on a Friday. I would expect all the prime cards to see a massive jump in salary for the Pink Diamonds, probably close to 8K salary for each of them this upcoming Saturday, because this upcoming Saturday is going to mark 8 days since the prime promo has come out. And usually whenever that happens, we see these players' salaries jump up dramatically. So just be on the lookout for that. And then once that Saturday passes and we hit next Tuesday, the 29th, then we may see their salaries come back down and those prime players may become more usable. Although, like I said, at least I think I said in this video, these promos that we get during events have not had players of the same quality, at least in my opinion, as players that we've gotten on Fridays in the last season and a half when events have not been out. So hopefully, you know, when the SIG series event comes to an end this Friday, we'll see another really good promo come out that isn't going to be handicapped by an event coming out. That's what I'm hoping for. Also hoping that Mark Williams' salary eventually drops down to 5K. I'm sure that it will. We're going to continue moving on here. There was one more salary I wanted to comment on. Let's see, where is he at? Dante still at 8K. That's frustrating. Eddie Curry still at 5K is great. Kobe White, for the first time in a long time, maybe for the first time ever, is down to 5,000 salary. So if you're someone that has been wanting to run or has been running the Kobe White and Lowry Markkanen duo in Showdown, for example, or in maybe you're running them in salary cap, it's going to be easier to run them now that Kobe White is down in salary by a whopping 3,000 points, which is massive. You can see, by the way, a ton of Pink Diamonds are down to 5K. Unfortunately, Khalil Ware is not one of them. So you're going to be able to bring in a number of Pink Diamonds into your salary cap lineups if you would like to this week. Moving on to the Diamonds, there really isn't a ton that I want to touch on when it comes to the Diamonds. Most of them have stayed exactly the same. But Hakeem Warwick has halved in salary. He was at 4K on Saturday. He's back down to 2K. If I want to keep Dante Exum, which I might, then I may or more than likely will replace Sheldon Williams with Hakeem Warwick. I like his jump shot much more than Sheldon Williams, but we'll have to see. I did add Jonas Valanciunas. I'm hoping that his salary will drop to 2K in a couple of weeks, and then maybe we'll consider him in lineups where we're not running Joakim Noah. Not going to spend too much more time here. Just wanted to show you guys Dyson Daniels down to 2,000 salary. That's why I'm considering bringing him in place of Dante Exum, because as much as I love Dante Exum, I don't think Dante Exum is that much better than Dyson Daniels where it warrants me spending 3,000 more salary, especially when I could replace Sheldon Williams with a guy like Robert Covington or Jonathan Bender. Gonna have to, again, try out their jump shots to see if I like them more than Hakeem Warwick, because Hakeem Warwick is an absolute monster in this game mode. Moving on Pat Burke at 2,500. I wanted to just double check that. One of the guys I lost to had Pat Burke, and he was cooking me with him. Justice Winslow, another card I'm contemplating running if I don't want to run Dyson Daniels, just to see what his jump shot is like, because he's a monster on defense. I've seen plenty of people running him, and he's been a really, really difficult matchup for me to guard with whoever I have at the point guard spot. Where's Marcus Smart? I think he's up in salary too, right? Where's Marcus? Marcus Smart up to 3,500, which is kind of frustrating. So yeah, in terms of the amethyst, I actually haven't even looked at the amethyst. Let's quickly breeze through these. I don't want to spend too much time on the amethyst cards. Any major changes? I don't think so. I mean, Oso Iguodaro, I think, was at 1,200. He's now up to 1,500, which is a little annoying. I don't know why Vanderbilt's still at 2,000. I guess it's because of that Rui duo, but that feels kind of silly to me. Oh, Kyle Filipowski's finally down at 1,200. He was at 1,500 for a minute. But yeah, otherwise, no other major changes. Again, just like with the diamonds. Oh, AC Law back out to 1,200. That's actually pretty significant. Maybe I bring him back in place of DeLon Wright, although I do love DeLon Wright's defense. Being forced to run DeLon Wright for the last few days has been really nice. It made me appreciate just how good he is on defense. And offensively, he's not as crafty as AC Law, but he can obviously hold his own. Really fun card. Yeah, a ton of these amethysts are at 1,200 salary. If you listened to me last season and bought all these amethyst cards on Fridays, you should be in a great position to build your lineups with a bunch of really good cards that only cost you 1,200 salary. So let's just, for the sake of the video, make this change. We are going to bench Dante Exum for Dyson Daniels, and then we're going to bench Sheldon Williams for, let's for now put Jonathan Bender. I just want to try him out. I'm genuinely curious. Does mine have, I think he has a couple of added badges, I don't remember, but 27 gold, 12 Hall of Famers compared to Robert Covington, who has, let's see, okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's gonna be pretty close. I feel like Robert Covington's going to give me a little more defensively, but Jonathan Bender is 7 feet tall, which is incredible. Just going to have to try out that jump shot and see if we like it or not. 92 speed is crazy on this card. Wow. Yeah, we're going to have to see. But as of right now, this is the lineup I'm more than likely going to run in salary cap. Today, going to play a couple more games. All right, with that being said, I should first make sure that I'm recording before I open up these packs, which we are. Hi, YouTube. Wow, 17 and a half minutes. We may get this video under 20 minutes for once, which would be nice. All right, here we go. Let's open up our pink diamond pack. Have to go through all of these. Oh, we have a few of these deluxe packs too. You know, we'll open up these two. Let's get these out of the way. A few deluxe packs. Let's see if we can get lucky in any of them. Those weekly challenges were really annoying to get done. As we get Kyle Filipowski. Is the one that I have auctionable? He is. That's cool. Those weekly challenges, I had to get them done because I was so tired of seeing the little stat progress thing pop up in the top right with every single player that I scored with, as we get a new amethyst. Who the heck do I not have from the Apex set? Is it going to be like an undersized point guard? 89 close shot, Western Conference. Power forward. Who the heck is this? I don't have Chris Murray? Well, now I have Chris Murray. That's exciting. Thanks, 2K. All right, Torpedo Deluxe. Then we have our Season 5 Super Pack. And then we'll move on to our 2 Pink Diamond packs. Yep, another duplicate Amethyst. Isaiah Collier is one I have. Okay, at least we're getting the auctionable ones that we have out of our collection, which I guess is kind of nice. Super Pack. Can we get something decent out of this, 2K? Come on, give me a shake. Give me a shake. Okay. It's a diamond. God damn it. All right, well, let's see what we get, I guess. Who's a diamond that I don't have from Season 5? Western Conference, 94 pass ac. Is this Derek Fisher? Smush Parker. I forgot that I got rid of him. All right, well, that's exciting. Okay, we have a pink diamond pack somewhere in here. Oh, I gotta redeem that invincible piece. Got lucky and I ended up getting 2 randoms that were actually hilarious that I played Park with over the weekend to get that 5-win streak. Okay, here we go. So it's a new pink diamond, so that's kind of nice. All right, 2K. Give me something decent. Eastern Conference, 92 perimeter, so it's a good defender. Who's this? I have no idea who this is. Oh, we get Gerald Wallace. That's cool. I think his jumper's kind of booty on the pink diamond, but I'll take it, Gerald Wallace. Cool. Thanks, 2K. Final pack. We have to go into our Seasons tab to get it. Right here. Oh, we have 2 of these to open up. Oh, wait a minute. All right, let's open up both of them then. All right. So we're definitely going over 20 minutes. I apologize. All right, here we go. So one of them has 5 players. One of them has... Oh, they both have 5. Okay, that's cool. All right, come on, 2K. Can we get a Wemby, a Dr. J out of one of these? Otherwise, I may buy one today from the auction house during the market crash. Let's see. Bless up. This is actually not a bad one. We get Jokic and John Morant. My Chris Paul. Wait, hold on. I have a pink diamond Chris Paul. That's auctionable? I don't know if I believe that. I mean, I should believe that. But I mean, how much would an all-star Chris Paul even go for? When did I get this card? You know what? I'm just going to take John Morant because I don't really care for that Chris Paul card. And I don't have a good John Morant card, at least that I can think of. I got to pick 2. All right, we'll take him and we'll take Chris Paul and see if the one I have is auctionable, I guess. Oh, he is. When did I buy this card? That's interesting. All right, here we go. This one is choose one. So let's see. Come on, 2K. Bless your boy. Give me something good. Ugh, this is also pretty booty. Of course, we get Gerald Wallace once again. Paul Millsap could be interesting. 18 gold, 9 Hall of Famers. He can play the small forward position. I'm assuming Kevin McHale can't shoot. Yeah, he has no badges either. Yeah, we'll take... I'm not going to take Bryce McGowan's. 6'6" shooting guard. Yeah, we'll take Millsap. That was pretty uneventful. But that's the way it goes when it comes to these random packs that we get. Anyways, that's the video. Appreciate you guys. Best of luck in your salary cap journey the rest of this week. And until next time, I'll see you later.